Well, praise the Lord. Hallelujah. And thank you, Jesus. It's around that time right here on KAZ Radio. We have one of my most favorite shows, The Sisters of Leisure, with Tracy and Michelle. Take it away, sisters.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Tracy, and I'm one half of Sisters of Leisure, where we are living every day, seeking and understanding real events.
And I am Michelle, the little sister.
And today we have a special guest. His name is Kevin Edwards. He is a singer. He is a international gospel singer, I may add. I'm sorry about that. I should have added that first. You are an author and a songwriter, and you also have released the EP. You released it in your first EP in 2001. That is awesome.
Right.
That is
Before I even knew
amazing.
Right. Before I even knew about an EP, I didn't know it was called, when you have like 6 songs on a CD or 5, that it was called an EP. So yeah, it was 2001 when I released that.
Yeah, we're so honored to have you here today to talk about what you're doing. And you also produce as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so we're just happy to have you, Kevin, on our podcast today. And we just want to know how do you manage doing all of what you do?
One thing at a time. Basically, when it comes to the writing part, like I just still away. A lot of times I'm a morning writer. Like I can get up early in the mornings because I wake up most mornings like 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning. You know, they always say people who are entrepreneurs and, you know, people who are business people, they wake up bright and early in the morning. That's me. And so I'm up writing in the mornings. Sometimes during, you know, at work, like if I'm like right now, I'm working on my last book in this series, and I really want to get it done so the editor can start looking at it and doing her thing. And so I've been working, you know, like when I get a break at work or whatever, I'll start working on it. But yeah, I juggle that. Then I'll shift and go into music. Like whenever an opportunity, you know, comes, right. The next thing that I might be a part of, I've been working with Black Nativity for the past 5 or 6 years. I was actually one of the extras in the choir scenes, like when it first comes out and they have the choir and all that. And so I was doing that for a while. And then when I started, you know, when I became an author, I started selling my books, you know, there, you know, as a vendor. And so this year they sent me 3 different things I could do. So right now I'm not sure which way I'm gonna go with that.
Well, you have a book called Fear Over Feet.
Yeah, Kevin turns fear into feet.
With a fear what?
Kevin turns fear into feet.
Heaven. Let's not forget heaven.
No,
Kevin.
Yeah, it's me.
Okay.
Right. Well, we can't forget heaven now.
Hearings off. Okay.
Right. That's okay. We going to heaven.
A little bit more about that.
About the book?
Yes.
Well, actually, when I wrote that children's book, I actually was going to put that story. I was working on like a memoir, a biography. You know, I was just gathering up some things, you know, because I know right now I'm not old enough to have a memoir, a biography yet. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm still waiting on some more things to happen. But I said, you know, go ahead and start writing it. So when that time does come, I'll have my information. And so I was going to put that in there. But I met a student when I was working in the school system. A guidance counselor brought a student to me who was homeless. And the student, you know, I guess told the case worker, guidance counselor, you know, that she wanted to be a singer. She wanted to write songs and all that. So the guidance counselor said, well, I got the right person for you because Mr. Edwards has been, he's toured, he sings and he can talk to you. So she brought the student to me. And as we were talking, we never mentioned anything about bullying, you know, but I picked up that she was being bullied. You know what I'm saying? I felt the same vibe that how I was bullied in school. I felt that same vibe from her. And so when she left my presence, I didn't really want to tell my story because I actually have 2 manuscripts about bullying because I knew I had a story to tell about bullying. And I have written 2 manuscripts about it, but I would always get to the end of it and I was something is missing. And now, mind you, I did not want to tell my story because I didn't want, people to think, oh, he's using his name, using his story. I just didn't want to do it. But when I heard God say, okay, now I need you to take your story.
Mm-hmm.
I sent you to school. I've sent you through all of that difficulties when you were a child. Now I need your story, and I want you to put it in a child's perspective, and I want you to help this child. And so when I heard him say, I need you to do it, I got on it, and I completed the manuscript. I got the teachers at the school edited it for me. And then after that, I was looking for an illustrator. And so I put one Saturday, I put a message on Facebook, asking if anyone knew an illustrator or whatever. And so I got all these messages. And then this guy from the Philippines, who I wasn't friends with, saw my message and said, could you send me a portion of your manuscript? I would like to be your illustrator. And so I sent him a portion of it. He sketched out some stuff, sent it back to me. And the price he charged me was a fraction. Because our money and the money over there is two different things. Right. And so what he charged me, I could have paid him all at one time. He said, no, we're going to do 4 payments. But I knew what he was trying to do. He wanted me to trust him because I didn't know him. I didn't know where my money was going. And he was trying to make sure that he was good. And so, but I was like, okay. So he did 2 of my books. And then I got this other illustrator from one of those apps. I think it's called Fiverr, Fiverr.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I got a illustrator from that. And she did an outstanding job, for the price that I paid, for her.
Yeah.
But that's how that book came about. And it's everywhere. It's in bookstores. Everywhere I go. I've been to Hawaii a couple of times. I take it. It's in the bookstores in Hawaii. It's in the public libraries. It's in schools. It's in one of the schools in Waikiki where I was. I was in Puerto Rico this summer. I sent an email, talked to the librarian. They welcomed it. They welcomed all of my books, put them in the library, had them posted up, and had a nice little display. I mean, they're everywhere. Bookstores here in Atlanta, everywhere. Down in Florida, my school where that actually happened for me, they have really been a blessing. The superintendent, he came, I was there this past weekend and to speak for a group. And the school board member had asked me to come. And the superintendent he came to just to see about me because he was 3 years older than me. It's in high school. And so he came to check on, but he bought books for all of the 3rd and 4th and 5th grade in the whole district.
You know what? The story is sweet because I have a 10-year-old and he plays the drums, and I shared your story with him. And he was like, Mom, that's like me, because he's afraid to go and play his drums for his school for talent show. Right. And I'm like, listen, you got to turn that fear and, no, it's just, just have faith in your ability to do what you have to do. And it's going like what you said, like, you don't know what came over you. When you stepped up to that microphone, you closed your eyes and
that was it.
It's just belted out. And, and I just love that, how you was just like, you didn't know it was God leading you all the way. And you just have to have faith in that.
Right. But when you're called, when you are, predestined to do something, purpose to do something, God just helps you all the way. Because I remember that night before, I was terrified. And I had sang it in church. Now, I've been singing since I was 8 in church. And I was fully received in the church. But for my peers, to sing at school, I was like, no, I don't know. And then I was being bullied. So I'm thinking, these people, they're going to throw eggs and tomatoes. And corn and greens, beans, tomatoes, all that. That's what I'm going to get. And so I was like, this is not going to work. And I was scared the whole night. And then I never forget that morning I got up, just like at church, when they said, at this time, Kevin Edwards will come and sing a song or whatever. And when I got up out of my seat, that's something that comes over me when I'm at church, came over me that morning. And I got up to the microphone and I started singing, and everybody in the whole auditorium everybody was quiet. Nobody was talking, and they were just listening to my voice. And from that point, people stopped. I never forget, I ran out after it was over with because I didn't want nobody to say anything to me. And so, because I didn't know what they was going to say. And so I ran back, trying to go back to my room, and people stopping me in the hall. We didn't know you could sing like that. You know, you have a beautiful voice, and blah, 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 blah. And from that point on, I was singing in everything at school, all the senior proms, the high school graduation, anything that happened, spring concerts, whatever it was, I sang it.
It's like the anointing just hit you.
Yeah, that's what it was. See, I say something, you know, I know what it is. Like when I go places, like this weekend, the ladies were looking at me, you know, when I said that that's something that came over me, you know, when I got up. I knew what it was. It was the Holy Spirit, you know, that anoints you to do something. It comes over you and it gives you that ease in what you're doing. It makes it easy to get up in front of people when you're, you know, some people are timid and scared, you know, to get up in front of what my coworker, her son, she purchased my books. She purchased all of them maybe about a month ago. And then she came to me last week and she said her son, just like you just said, I think he's in the 3rd grade and he sings. He's in a play at the school. And she said, Kevin, can my son call you? I said, yeah, he can call me. I'll talk him through it. She said, because he done read your book 2 times. He's trying to figure out what he said. But see, I want to say, you know, when you are called to do something, that extra special gift, that anointing is going to work for you. You don't have to worry about it. You know what I'm saying? And so that's where I'm at now as a 57. This week on Thursday, I'll be 57. That something has come over me so many times that I'm confident in, you know, when you have to get up saying, I'm not scared about it anymore.
Yeah.
So what? Go ahead, Michelle.
No, I was just saying that it's very cute. I enjoy it. And, you know, to know that those are real characters in your story.
Right.
I thought it was adorable. Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, when I released it, I went home back to Florida. I called my teacher. I told her she's still alive. And she came out. She was just so happy. She said, one of my students remember me. Because teachers love when you remember them or you come back and you do something great or whatever. So she came. She's been twice. The school where all of that happened to me, they asked me to be the keynote speaker for Black History 2 years ago. And so she came, she sang with me because she was my chorus teacher. And so she sang with me on the program, and then the students interviewed me, you know, for the presentation. But yeah, she was there. The pianist who was we graduated from high school together. She came to support me, and of course, my mom was always. And my mom was a part of that day. One of my friends, well, where was your dad? I said he was alive, but he wasn't part of that situation. You know what I'm saying? My mom was that part, so I couldn't unless I wanted to make up something. You know that he did.
Yeah.
So what inspires you to write, and what kind of music do you like?
I actually like all kind of music. Now, I'll do the music first. I listen to jazz, I listen to R&B, you know, because I like some of the R&B songs, you know, on the radio, you know. You know, I'm not a Beyonce person, you know, like a lot of people. I know y'all heard and broken by I'm broken. You know, I think she can sing. I think she has a beautiful voice, but I'm not a Beyonce that, you know, but you know, I like her music. I like the beats, and then I like the song, you know, I like all of that. And but yeah, I like R&B music, I like gospel music. When I was a child, of course, my mom, you know, she loved gospel music. She was in the church. So I heard Shirley Caesar in my house. I never forget the first time I saw Shirley Caesar. The first concert I ever went to, my mom took me to Panama City to the, I can't think of the theater. But anyway, she took me to the theater. Shirley Caesar was there. And I went up to shake her hand. I'm about 11, I think, you know, when she took me. And I shook her hand. I said, I'll never wash my hand again. I touched Shirley Caesar's because it was amazing that, you know, hearing them sing on the radio and then actually meeting them in person, you know, as a child, you know what that did to me. But yeah, so I like all different types of music. And then I think the other question was about my writing.
Yes. What inspires you? What makes you flow when you write your music?
Different things. Like a lot of times when I'm traveling, like when I go places, that's when I take it and take whatever I'm working on And because like when I was in Puerto Rico this summer, the summer before I went to Puerto Rico, you know, I done been on several trips like in Europe and all that. I take my laptop or whatever, and then I work on it. But like I was saying earlier, in the mornings, Toni Morrison said she was highly intelligent first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
She said,
Yeah.
but she said that. And that's, you know what, when I was listening to her, I was thinking, that's me, because around 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, I'm shutting down. I'm ready to come home and change the scenery. But in the mornings, that inspires me to write. And you know what, knowing that I am putting something else out to help, because all of my books, in some type of way, they're helping people. And one thing, years ago, I used to be a member of New Birth, and I'll never forget Bishop Eddie Long said one time when he died, he wanted to die empty of everything that God had placed inside of him. So when I die, all the books, everything, I don't want to do you know how many people is in the grave that has a book, a song, or something that they should have released to mankind? And so when I die, I want all, that's why I keep doing books, I keep doing music, whatever gifts God gives me, I keep doing it so I can get it out, because I want to be empty when I when
like
I
you want to use your gifts.
If everyone, when I stand before him, if it's a God, and I believe there is one, when I stand before him, I want to be able to say, God, everything you sent me, I used it.
Yeah.
To the best of my ability. So that's what inspires me.
That's wonderful. Do you have particular authors or for your, that you admire, or that you kind of
I know where you're going with it. No, not in terms of the children, because I'm really not, because I didn't really think I would be a children's author. I thought I'd probably be an adult. You know what I'm saying? It was until I met that child and I heard God say, now I need you to take your story, put it in a child's perspective. And then when I wrote that first one, I was like, oh, this is my niche. You know what I'm saying? So then I stayed in that vein. But I love Toni Morrison. I love Maya Angelou, those people, because I like profound things. I like stuff that has deep meaning.
Yeah. So, we were speaking of, people who, leave this earth and have all these gifts inside of them. So what would you tell someone who, wants to be a singer, a producer, an author? What would you tell them to do? Because there's so many people that still sitting and just don't believe in what they're, I guess, hearing from God, or feeling. What would you tell them?
To get up and do it anyway. Because see, I don't let anyone stop me. You know what I'm saying? Because right now I'm in a place where God is directed and telling me, like, even with this book, I remember when I first wrote the book, the next thing I heard him say was, okay, now I need you to get in the passenger side. I'm going to do the driving. Anything I tell you to do, that's what you do. So anything that you see that I'm doing is a directive that I've heard, something that said, okay, send an email over here. You need to send a message here. You need to do this. You need to do that. Because most of the stuff I didn't know what to do. Like my first book that I published, a publishing company did it. So I didn't have anything. I didn't know any of the background part of it. I sent the manuscript. They did everything else. So I didn't really know what was going on. But when I did this children's book, I wanted to self-publish it and save myself some money. And so I just figured it out. It's like when it's your season to do anything, trust me, God will make, where it seems like you lack the understanding to do something, you understand him, because I know the whole ins and outs of that whole thing of self-publishing. And I try to help anybody. I tell them, I said, listen, you do it. If you're called to do it, you won't stop until you do it. Those people that's sitting around, that maybe it's not, some people are just lazy and they procrastinate and they put off for tomorrow what they should be doing today. You know what I'm saying? But I don't do that. I've never been that type of person. Like, I'm a person that even on my job, I'm at work every day on time, every day. That's just how I am. If I do something, I want to do. That's not you.
That is
her.
Oh, that's you.
My God.
Yes. So
Yeah.
I feel what you're saying too.
Right.
But I was watching a young lady. She talked about publish, self-publishing, and she was like, if you have these 5 components, that you're good. Like she was saying, you need to write your story, get it edited, create a storyboard. And she also say, make sure you know what your illustration style is, because a lot of people don't really know what they want as far as their illustration is concerned in the book. So
Right. And then you can look through, you can, like in that Fiverr program, there's all different types of illustration. And you can kind of look up, because my illustrator says, well, what type of style do you want? And I was so happy to get illustrations that my first book, I didn't care what it did. Just seeing my words on paper, sending a book and seeing pictures. I was like, because let me tell you, when I got it back, it was probably maybe 6 months after I had released it and everything. I saw the same clothes that the boy had on when we was at school that morning. The next day he had on the same thing. So I would have noticed all of that, but I was so happy about the book. I didn't see all of, the little bitty small little things. I was just so happy. My eyes was big, like, oh my God, I actually have a children's book. And and it has illustrations, so I was just happy. Now the second book, he didn't care for me on the second book because I was on him on every little thing. I mean, I was every page. No. I need different colors every day because we got different things going on every day. I need different clothes. I don't have. So yeah, that's just how I do it.
Yeah. So what special projects you have coming up?
Well, I'm working on the last book in the series. I got Kevin Turns Fear into Feet was the first one. And it talks about me being in school singing for the first time, and kids heard me sing, changed my whole life. Then the next book was Kevin's Big Win. I went to Hawaii. My friend in Marianna, Florida, knew the radio announcer in Tallahassee. He knew the radio announcer in Honolulu. My family was going on a trip, and so he called. I had just released my first full CD, and so he contacted the radio announcer in Hawaii. Had all that set up. My friend who was in the military, got married and stayed in Hawaii. He picked me up at the airport. My mom and my sister, they went on to the cruise. And so I went and they interviewed me. They played my music. Then I get on the ship that night, and it says on the itinerary that they're having a star search. And I said, star search? And my mom said, are you going to sing? I said, no, I'm tired. Because we had flown for 10 hours, and I was tired. And I had done the radio interview. And so I went to bed. So then the next night, they said the person who won the first night is going to sing against the person sing tonight, and then sing and try to beat each other out. So I got down a little early. I said, let me go see who won last night. So I went down, and then I heard the guy sing. I said, that's not singing. I'm like, they didn't have anybody that could really sing because he wasn't a singer. And so I went in and I chose, I was looking through all the songs, and they had Luther Vandross song, Here and Now. And so I sang that. And I never forget when other people were singing, everybody was talking. You know how they talk, because everybody be in there talking when we sing. But when I got up to sing Here and Now, everybody got quiet. And so I sang that. So the guy said, now you need to sing that for the competition and you're going to win the whole thing. So I did. And I won that. So the second book, I put all that whole story of what happened, me going to Hawaii, doing the interview, winning the big win. I won a trophy. I got a chance to sing for everybody on the ship. And they gave me food. And then I was treated like a celebrity. When I did that, just imagine, everybody on the ship was whispering at me. Now I see what celebrities get. I would be walking, that's that guy that was singing. Whoever we were, that's how they were treating me. So I got all that. So I put all that in that book. And right now, my last book in the series is called Kevin Goes on Tour. And that's where I talk about, we had 18 shows in all the northern and southern parts. We flew all the way down to Sicily and to Switzerland. And so I picked up maybe 5 of those: Rome, Milan, Venice, and it was another spot. It was about 5 places in Switzerland. I picked up those, and I did a children's story around that, what we did on tour. and how tour life is, and you know, all that. And so that's the last. And then with the music, I released two singles, and during the pandemic, was in 2021. I released two singles, and but that's all. My mom is right now. She said, "I see you writing." She said, "I need you to sing again. I need to hear some more."
Well, could you give us a snippet of something?
Yeah, I want to hear something.
Great is thy faithfulness, O God, my Father. There is no shadow of turning with thee. Thy changes not, thy compassion, they fail not. As thou hast been, I will forever be. Great is thy faithfulness. Great is thy faithfulness. Morning by morning, new mercies I see. Is that enough?
Y'all better be booking him
That is beautiful.
for
That
all
is-
y'all church events,
Yeah,
because your beautiful voice.
beautiful. Just imagine sitting on that. Just imagine sitting on that.
Yes.
Right. I know. And sometimes, like, I have been discouraged. The music, I'm more discouraged about music because all of my life I grew up thinking that God was controlling everything. But then when you get older, you realize there's demons behind the scene controlling the radio, controlling. They got gatekeepers for
TV.
this, and they got gatekeepers for that. And so it's kind of hard to get in. So I have been a little perplexed and about the music part of it. So that keeps me from doing more than I do. But I got friends and churches and stuff. They'll call me. We need to hear your voice.
Yes.
I hear you slip. I see you slipping away, but I'm checking on you.
That's good.
I need you to come to my church and sing.
Yeah, because it's just, it's a beautiful thing. You have this gift. Me and Tracy was on live the other day, and we were talking about gifts and how they come in different forms. And you have yours is just singing beautifully and have this talent for writing or whatever. And so just it perplexed me, people who have these gifts of drawing and art and singing and just holding it so tight that they don't want to share it, and they allow fear.
That's it.
That's what stop them from doing, what it is that will free them mentally, financially. It's just thank you for singing for us. And
I listened to what really has helped me through the years. I used to watch what's her name, Joyce Myers on television, and she made a statement. She says, when you're afraid, you do it afraid. She said, you do it anyway. And so when I heard that, when she said, do it afraid, so even though I might be fearful, do it anyway. And so that's what I do. I get up and I do it. I put myself in situations sometimes, just to see. And I've never failed. You know what I'm saying? And once you do it enough, even with the books, I never ever once thought, even with my songs that I write, I never feel like, oh, this is not a good song or this is not a good story. It's like I'm confident in that God has given me something else to help somebody else. You know what I'm saying? So you have to be confident in what you're doing, and you have to realize it's not about you. It's not your words. You might be smart, but it's not your words. Those words are coming from God. And so you need to be confident God has given you those words to put on that. And you just do it. And I want to give it out because I don't want him to say, he might say some things. He might get me for this and he might get me for that. But he will not get me for gifts. He will not get me for what he sent me here to do, to encourage, regardless of, because I have not been received, even in the music industry here in Atlanta. Like I'm not really received. In some places I am, but a lot of places I'm not. A lot of churches I've been a part of, sometimes people be a little envious if you got anointing. If you're anointed, they'll hide you. They don't want to bother with you. but I don't let anything stop me. I keep doing it because I'm doing it for somebody else. I'm not doing it for people.
That's good. So how can people get in touch with you, Kevin?
They can get in touch with me on my website, which is www.kevinbedwards.com. They could email me. They can email at fear2feet@gmail.com. They can see I'm on Twitter, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram. So any of those places, they can reach out, and they could go on YouTube and listen. I have music on YouTube. I have all kinds of stuff on YouTube. And so they can go. That's what I tell a lot of people now when they ask me, because this weekend when I was in Florida, they said, "Are you gonna sing for us today?" I was like, "No, I didn't really come to sing. Y'all paid me to talk." And I said, "But if you want to hear a song, just go on YouTube."
Go to YouTube.
Yeah, go to YouTube. But yeah, those are the best places, to find Kevin.
Okay. Well, you know what, Kevin? You have been an amazing guest.
Yeah.
You really do. I'm glad your voice got better for us.
Look at it. Look at God.
Yeah.